Chief Okeno Little Hawk is now about to explain to our host, Andre Bunch, the significance of his collection and what it means to the Cherokee people. He will also give a demonstration of his regalia and what that also means, and the significance that the eagle feather has to the Cherokee nation.
Where do those feathers come from? Well now, you see before you a variety of feathers. You see imitation eagle feathers, and the reason why they are imitation eagle feathers is because in our Aniyankwiya tradition, that's Cherokee tradition, we Cherokees really prize the golden eagle as a bird of war, and also as a very, very sacred bird. And therefore the feathers of that bird were only gathered by special people in our tribe. People who were designated to go up into the mountain or into the high areas to get the feathers from an eagle, or even to kill an eagle for sacred purposes. With our people, if an eagle feather ever hit the ground, the person who caused that feather to hit the ground would be killed instantly. That's how sacred that bird was to us. So having a bird of such magnitude, such spiritual comings togethers for us, we don't dance with those feathers, not unless it's on very, very sacred occasions. And on sacred occasions, we don't open that to the public for everyone to see. Well, the feathers that you see here on the wall, which are imitation eagle feathers, are part of one of my dance regalias. When we native people, Indian people, get together, it has become known as a powwow. And it is at these powwows where we dance our traditional dances, eat our traditional foods, and meet friends and relatives that we haven't seen all year. It is a gathering of culture, a gathering of people. And this particular feather arrangement is something that I wear on my back when I do my traditional dancing. I've won many contests here on the East Coast because of it and my dance skills. And it's very, very, very colorful. It has my clan colors in the center. May I?
Sure.
The yellow and white, which are the colors of the Anigilohi, that is the long-haired clan of the Cherokee, my clan, my family. And it's very symbolic. The centerpiece is a seven-sided structure, and this represents all seven of our clans. In our particular tribe, in our nation, we have seven distinct families, I being of one of those families, the long-haired family. And this represents those seven families, and it also represents our council house. We used to have a seven-sided council house, which we're trying to reconstruct today in upstate New York, so that we'll have a religious place to actually go to and do our Aniyankwiya ceremonies. Over here, may I?
Sure.
Over here is one of my dance shields, which is made of Yansa skin. Yansa is Cherokee for buffalo. So this is an actual buffalo hide that was cut, and it's still, it's not finished yet. I'm still, it's going to be beaded and everything, and this will be a dance shield for me. This here is a cow shield. Very, very hard. And as you can see, it has certain Cherokee symbols that mean things. It says that I am of the long-haired clan, and I am of the Udyadla Kalanka Diniwuluhiski Dijalagi. That means the northeastern band of Cherokee Indians. Being a chief, or uku, my colors are white and yellow. So most of my regalia is, you guessed it, white and yellow. So there's my quiver, in which I carry ceremonial arrows and a dance bow. And there are pictures of me at various powwows. If you follow me to the opposite wall, you'll see another kind of bustle. This bustle is made out of wild turkey feathers. Now, turkeys are very, very sacred to us people down south because it's a good meal to us. We don't eat eagles, but we do eat turkeys. So after a very, very good meal, I decided to make a turkey feathered bustle. And I've also won contests in dancing with this bustle. But it really holds something very sacred to me because it was a darn good meal. This here is our war, well, I call this the war wall. And the reason why I call it the war wall is because on this wall I have many of the weapons that our people used to use during warfare. For instance, this is a modernized blowgun, which we used to use for sniper purposes. We'd have darts and we would put poison on the darts and we'd actually blow it into the neck of an enemy or something like that. Here's a, you call it or you know it as a tomahawk, but in our language we call it galugiensti, which also means tomahawk. And it's made of a stone and wood from an oak tree, and it's quite heavy. In fact, what you have to do is, and you can knock somebody out with this. Up here is something that's illegal, they say, in the state of New York, but I had to have it because
It's a crossbow?
yeah, so it's a miniature-sized crossbow. It's been used on wildlife, not Caucasian or any other race, but it has been used, not to kill anyone or anything. Up here is a ceremonial dagger with an eagle on this handle. I feel real powerful with this. When I carry this in my hand, I really feel as if I could scalp and do a good job at it. There's some people I could think, no, I'm just kidding. Let me not get into it. And there are just various things in this wall here that reminds me of trying to live the warrior's life. This here is a shield, which is in the war colors of our people, red and black, with black crow feathers. Really, these are not crow feathers. These are actually, excuse me, these are raven feathers.
Mm.
These are real raven feathers, which is the warbird, or one of the warbirds of the people. We call it golena. That is the name of the raven. And this here is a pheasant skin. This once again came, I had spoken about a bustle that I had made out of a good meal, which was a turkey. Well, this here was once a good meal also, and this is a pheasant skin. I remember it well.
Now I have a question for you that basically, straight out of Hollywood. Elaborate on scalping. That they figure that, Native Americans, I guess, came up with scalping in a sense.
Yes, yes.
So where does that come from?
Well, I'm going to tell you, believe it or not, scalping originated from Long Island. In the time when the Dutch occupied most of New York and Long Island, Siwanhaki, as the Indians called it, or native people called it, the Dutch were plotting families against, or tribes against one another that lived on the island. And one of the ways that the Dutch could determine if whether or not a warrior was killed, they would ask the warrior to bring in a hand or a foot. Well, Indian people after a while started getting smart because they noticed that most people had 2 hands and 2 feet. So they'd kill one warrior and bring in 2 hands and actually claim that they killed 2. Well, the Dutch eventually wised up and decided that, well, we know that most normal people have only 1 head, upper head that is, and they decided, well, if you take the hair off the head and present that scalp to us, we will know that you had killed a warrior, and you could get your payment from that. And that's how scalping began here on the East Coast.